I personally want to stop taking hormones. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Kyle, aka Prince Kyle, don't forget it. And I also have a TikTok and an Instagram where I pretty much just share my transition and give tips to people that want them. As you can see by the title, I just wanted to get this off my chest and talk about it because I keep seeing it everywhere. And yeah, let's just hop right into the video. So pretty much detransitioning or stopping hormones. So you may have come across a couple articles of people who have detransitioned. I wanted to say before I even get into any of it is anyone who has detransitioned and anyone that I may be referring to, nothing against them at all. If anything, I salute their bravery for, you know, being able to realize that something may have not been for them or whatever the case may be. So with that being said, I've been seeing it everywhere, and it's like the transphobic people heard these few cases and ran with it. Like, this was their moment to shine. This was their moment to have whatever proof they needed to think that us as transgender people are faking it or are gonna regret it, this, that, and the third. So I just had to talk about it because it's just really annoying. But there's a long list of reasons why people may stop taking hormones or may not start hormones at all, and there's just so many reasons behind it. And these few cases of people who did detransition for whatever personal reason it may have been for them, the transphobic people have just, they were like, oh, here's the evidence, y'all are faking it, like this is not real, like y'all are sick, and it's like, no, like it's so much deeper than that. It's like, it's crazy. So I recently just made a TikTok, I'll put it right there, and I basically was just saying, like, at the end of the day, don't take a few cases and run with it and think that the transgender community as a whole is going to do the exact same thing, because the majority of us do not. I'll basically just run through a list of reasons why people may stop taking hormones or may never start. And one of the reasons is they are in a non-supportive family, and they may be underage, so therefore they can't get access to hormones and to doctors because their parents are not bringing them, but they still identify as being transgender. So that is one of the main reasons, especially for younger adults or kids. Another reason is people just may not have the financial stability to be able to keep up with the hormones, because at the end of the day, this is something that is long-term typically. So you kind of need the money, and you need to have the resources to be able to afford to continuously go through these treatments and surgeries if you decide to have surgeries and things like that. Another thing is people just want to stop temporarily. I personally want to stop taking hormones. I want to feel just like my natural body just doing its natural things for a little bit. And that doesn't mean that that does not mean that I'm no longer transgender, like at all. It just means that I just want to take like a break. It's very similar to, for example, people that take a medication and don't want to take it anymore for a little bit. Say a woman is on birth control and she's been taking it for years, and now she wants to take like a year break and just let her natural body do its natural thing. It's similar to that. It's just a person wanting to take like a little pause on a medication, as long as it's not going to be detrimental to their health, obviously, but just like simple type of medications to where they don't have to take it, but they're willingly taking it, and now they just want to take like a little back step and just kind of relax and just gather themselves, and that's okay. And you are 110% still trans if you stop taking the hormones. Like, it doesn't make you any less trans. And one of the biggest misconceptions is that in order to be transgender, you have to be on hormones, and that's not true. You don't have to be on hormones. You don't have to be having surgeries. You don't have to change your name. Like, being transgender is a definition that only you can describe yourself as. Nobody can name you as transgender. Nobody can label you as that. Only you can, only you know. And as long as you tell yourself that you're transgender, that's the proof. That's the only proof that's needed. Nobody else's outside opinion, no hormone, no surgery, none of that. At the end of the day, it is your self-reflection and just what you identify as for yourself. And that's one of the biggest misconceptions. I see it all the time where people are like, oh, like, are you finished with your transition, or did you do the last step? Like, people really think that there's like steps to transitioning, and it's like, I could have never started hormones. I could have never had surgeries. I could have never wanted to be called something else. I could have simply just said, hey, I'm transgender. I'm a male, and this is what it is. So I definitely wanted to touch on that, because at the end of the day, you don't need to be on hormones. You don't need to have surgery. Like, you just don't. Another reason that people may stop, and this is similar to one of the articles that I've been reading about and just seeing all over the place, where I don't know their name and I don't know their pronouns. I just like barely just touched on the article, and I just kind of just keep seeing bits and pieces of the story. And I actually heard that this person's story was just put out there without their permission. They're not upset that it was put out there, but I know it was put out there without their permission. So I don't even know how much of the story is true and what is fact and what isn't. But the gist of the situation is this person transitioned from female to male, and then over time they realized it just wasn't for them, so they detransitioned. And people went crazy with this story. The minute a transphobic person got their hands on it, it was game over for the transgender community, because it pretty much just labeled all trans people as transitioning to realize that in the future we don't want to do it anymore, and we end up regretting it, and that all along people knew that trans people it's just all in their head and we're sick and and it's unfortunate. And nothing against this person who did detransition, because at the end of the day, it was their decision, and only they know how they feel. And what they did, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, just as there are situations in life where you may do one thing for a while and then realize, maybe this really isn't actually for me, then you stop doing it. And that's what this person did, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just unfortunate for the rest of the trans community, because now people are taking that one case and maybe a couple others that may have just came to light from the situation, and they're putting it and claiming it to be the whole entire trans community. And it's just not that way at all. I can only speak for my personal transition, but at the end of the day, I've known since I was as young as 6 years old, and I am now 27 turning 28. So this is going on pretty much 20 years of my life, and I would say 6 years old is around the age where like you can really start like identifying yourself, your person, your sex, all that stuff, even a little bit younger. And so I would pretty much say that from birth I just knew, and 20 years later I still know. And I know I can't predict the future, I can't even predict tomorrow, but I can wholeheartedly say that this is not a mistake in my eyes. I do not see myself like taking away the label of being transgender anytime soon, and I can 99.9% agree that I will not detransition. And I can only say that for myself, because I just know in my gut that this is who I am meant to be, and it is what it is. I went into transitioning knowing that I could have potentially not wanted to do it and like maybe made a mistake, but I don't even want to call it a mistake, because it's not. It's just part of my journey. It's just me finding myself and then maybe realizing it wasn't what I thought it was. But I would say that I have now realized that I did make the right decision, and this is exactly who I'm supposed to be, because I couldn't be any happier with the turnout and just the love I have for myself now. Obviously, I'm still dysphoric about things in certain situations, But a big part of that isn't even because of myself. It's because of people trying to pretty much label me for myself. Like, it's just the outside noise of people saying, oh, well, you have to do this, you have to have this body part, and you have to be like that. So when all of those outside forces are talking to you and telling you, oh, like, it's supposed to be this, it's supposed to be that, it's like, that's what makes me dysphoric. It's not myself. Like, at the end of the day, men and women come in all shapes and sizes, and I mean that in every aspect. So I can tell myself every day that my body is beautiful, my body is exactly how it's supposed to be, and I am 100% male, regardless of the typical male anatomy and the typical male way of living, whatever that means. But yeah, it's just unfortunate because these few situations and these few cases are now the light for the transphobic people to come out of their hiding spots and be like, oh, see, I knew it. I knew you guys were faking. I knew you guys were gonna regret it. Like, it's just like now all of a sudden all these people are coming out like they know transgender people and know what we're feeling and what we're doing. Again, nothing against the people who are experiencing this. I respect them tremendously because it takes a lot to do what you gotta do to figure yourself out. And I can only speak for me again, but I just know that my situation, like, I don't see myself detransitioning. I do see myself stopping hormones for a little bit, but that's all. I've stopped taking testosterone one time, and it was for about a month, and that was just so I could have my top surgery. And I didn't even have to stop. I willingly did, just because I've never had surgery before, and I didn't want anything in my body that could, like, I don't know, harm me. Even though my doctor said, like, it wouldn't affect anything, I just, in my head, it made me at peace knowing that there was nothing going through my body during a time of, like, bodily distress. But aside from that, I will never take away the name that I'm transgender, because this is who I am. Whether I like it or not, whether other people like it or not, this is exactly who I'm supposed to be. And many other trans people can attest to the same situation. They know exactly who they are, and they know that this is exactly who they were meant to be. And then for the people that detransition, it's because they knew exactly who they're meant to be. So just, I guess my closing statement is, just don't take 4 or 5 cases and then label the entire community as being the exact same way, because everybody is different. Trans or not, everybody's got their own story, everybody's got their own reasonings to doing things. Every person is different. So yeah, that's it. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe. This channel's growing every single day, and I am extremely appreciative for all of you. If you want to see more of me, then you know what to do. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.